Hello everybody! Today we are discussing the latest installment of the acclaimed Yellowstone spin-off series 1883. The show has been awaited by the fans for almost a year. Thus, when it premiered about a month ago, a festive-like spirit embraced the Yellowstone fan base. Everyone was more than excited to explore this historical fiction series that is focusing on the lives of the ancestors of some of our most favorite TV families ever, the Duttons. Duttons are the owners of the modern-day Yellowstone Ranch in Montana. Their life is filled with the struggle against threats from both inside and outside in order to preserve their ranch as well as their traditional lifestyle. Even though the Yellowstone series does not lack any action and is filled with many events that shape the plot, we cannot deny the fact that the story's characters are the ones that make the show unique. Most fans are obsessed with the Duttons, of which all the family members have distinct personalities that we love to watch. For instance, John is a typical patriarch whose strength is seen as the signifier of the family's strength. Casey, on the other hand, is nothing like his father, as his good heart often shines through all the bitter events. He is fond of his family and he often follows his emotions rather than the duty. Beth is arguable the most interesting of the Duttons, since her biggest personality traits is her unpredictability, which makes her highly unique. She is very smart and also a little bit crazy with an anti-hero quality that we admire. Last but not least, Jamie is the weakest of the Duttons in terms of his personality, but it does not make him a weak character by any means. On the contrary, his weakness makes him very intriguing, since it does not necessarily mean he is prone to giving up. That's to say, Duttons are such a family that when you are watching them, you cannot help but wonder what kind of a family lineage they are coming from. 1883 is the one that comes into the equation at this point. The show tells the story of the 19th century Duttons and their journey to move to Montana and start a new life which will turn into a family legacy within 2 centuries. The show's depiction of the 19th century atmosphere is unparalleled, as it managed to travel us back in time and visit the Wild West at its peak. That being said, even though it is entertaining to watch the series, it is almost emotionally painful since its depiction does not exclude the harshness of the period as well. Despite the difficulty in handling all those emotions coming from witnessing the suffering of the past generations to simply get a better life, we appreciate the show's realistic approach to the case rather than romanticizing it. Each episode starts with a hopeful narration of Elsa that grips the excitement of a young person in an adventure but ends with a tragic incident that reveals the true face of that so-called adventure. In the 4th episode of the series, we tackled the theme of saying goodbye to the past to be able to have a future. The episode witnessed the crossing of the Brazos River in Texas. In the previous episode, we watched Shea and James disagreeing over how to cross the river and eventually agreed to move west to cross over the narrowest point of it. Since there are only a few transportation options in the era, wagons and the horses are the most efficient way to go from somewhere to another. However, despite their efficiency, they are also difficult to navigate, especially when it comes to natural obstacles such as rivers. Thus, it required a thrown strategy to cross the river with the minimum cost possible. This meant that Shea, as the group leader, had to take harsh decisions that will upset most people just to save their lives. While he has going through this decision-making process, we watch him dreaming about his tragic experiences of battle in the Civil War, during which he witnessed a lot of death and suffering. We think that dream represents his fear of losing people in general, explaining his firm stance when it comes to saving human lives. Still, it is difficult to explain what is necessary and what is not to a group of people who are heavily attached to their belongings. Although we feel like the German group's portrayal is a little bit condescending in the series, we also appreciate the handling of the migrant group dynamic in general. When you move from one place to another, leave your homeland with the hope of starting over, it is highly likely to feel over-attachment to your belongings, as they are the sole reminders of what you came from. There is this feelings of nostalgia that is attached to those properties that are difficult to get rid of. Saying goodbye to those pieces breaks one's heart, as it means there is no connection left with their past. However, for the most part, if you want to start over, you are obligated to say goodbye to your past for good. Holding on to pieces of your past would keep you away from focusing on the new beginnings and leave you in the purgatory between the past and the future, which is the worst place to be. In episode 4 of 1883, the German migrants needed to leave their belongings behind so that their wagons can cross over the river. In the end, people had to leave their beloved properties, including the ones that make them earn money, which is shown through the story of a musician who left his piano behind. It was a touchy topic for sure, but also was a great symbolism in highlighting new beginnings. Do you agree with our analysis on 1883 Season 1 Episode 4? Do you think people are bound to say goodbye to their past to welcome the future? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.